ride along. I never did this before. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I know. They're fun.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope we really bust somebody, some scumbag today. Yeah, I might. Oh, hold on. Sorry. Phone call.
Oh, sure.
Hey, yeah, what's going on? What? Again? Okay, okay. I'll be there in 1 minute. Okay, just don't let him leave. Do me a big favor. Can we go to the store Midtown? I got a problem there. You guys need to help me, please. Please, this guy is just ruining our store. Can we do it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
7 o'clock.
All right, it's very nice to see everybody here this evening on this beautiful summer night. Nice to have a lot of people in the chambers, and very nice to see my colleagues again after our Committee of the Whole meeting at 5. So the first thing I'll do here is call this business meeting of the Kalamazoo City Commission to order for Monday, August 18th, 2025. Clerk Borland, please call the roll.
Commissioner Cooney. Present. Commissioner Decker. Commissioner Hoffman.
Present.
Commissioner Pradel.
Present.
Commissioner Wilson.
Present.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Present.
Mayor Anderson.
Here. Thank you, Clerk Borland. May I have a motion to excuse Commissioner Decker from the meeting this evening?
So moved. Support.
Motion made.
They can do
Call it. Motion made by Commissioner Cooney, supported by Vice Mayor Hess. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Thank you, Commission. The motion passes. Well, we have a special honor this evening for our invocation that we have Chaplain Regina Mays here with us. I really appreciate you're here with us this evening. And I'll just remind everyone as she comes forward how this will work is that she will be providing an invocation to get us started for our meeting this evening. And I will ask everybody to stand for the invocation and then remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. Chaplain Mays.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for another invite. I would like to also thank my other boss for missional chaplains, Mike Kemple. First of all, I would just like to say that I'm honored to be here again for this special occasion for tonight. It's really something very special to me outside of just the norm of being here. So as we begin our prayer, I would like to say, Father God, I come before you this evening with prayer to welcome and ask your presence here in this place, and that it would rest, rule, and abide in us, through us, and in the midst of all who are present this evening. I ask, Father God, for your guidance for Mayor Anderson, for Vice Mayor Hess, for the city commissioners, Mr. Cooney, Stephanie Hoffman, Chris Pradel, and Alonzo Wilson. I ask that they remember their commitments that they stated publicly to be good stewards over that which you have entrusted to them as responsibilities, and that they will remain faithful and trustworthy to uphold all, both personally and publicly, in the community and for the community. As we have all gathered here to do your will for the surrounding Kalamazoo communities, let us be reminded of the two most important commandments stated in Matthew 22, verses 37 and 38. Jesus said to love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. And the second one was to love your neighbor as yourself. And Father God, as you have required our whole being in this verse to be used to serve and love, that this example set before us will also be the example that we set in our communities as we work together, as we are led first in Christ, that your love leads and guides us in all that we do, in what we say, and how we operate, and how we move, and how we forgive. We ask that your will be done, and that the truth will be revealed and it prevails as we are blessed and successful in all. Father, I pray that tonight's agenda will accomplish a vision for Kalamazoo that brings peace in our city, unity in our city, respect in our city, and it will be represented from all in and around our community. Father God, I pray blessings, safety, and protection over each family that is represented tonight and here on this commission. I ask that your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, and that your kingdom come. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you again, Chaplain Mays. I appreciate you being here. We have also the blessing from time to time of having proclamations on our agenda, recognizing important events and activities, and we have two proclamations this evening. The first one is going to be read by Commissioner Chris Pradle, and I will bring the proclamation down. Commissioner Pradle, I'll let you get started with that, and then the second one will be read by Vice Mayor Hess.
Thank you,
Commissioner
Mayor.
Pradle, yes.
Thank you. We're joined tonight by Dr. Tony Wolfert-Barnes, who is director at WMU's Osher Lifelong Learning Institute, and some diehard volunteers for the organization as well. They're celebrating their 10th anniversary this year, so hear this proclamation. Whereas the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at Western Michigan University was founded with the mission to provide intellectual and cultural stimulation, personal growth, and social engagement for adults in an informal and lively learning atmosphere. And whereas OLLI at WMU seeks to enrich the quality of life of its participants and create a dynamic academy of learners who share knowledge and experiences gained through their lives. And whereas the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute of WMU offers high-quality, non-credit programs for mature adults in the greater Kalamazoo community, fostering opportunities for lifelong learning and social connection. And whereas since the inception of the lifelong learning at WMU to date, there have been over 2,700 members and more than 1,500 courses offered, contributing to a wide-ranging catalog of seminars and educational opportunities. And whereas the Institute is part of a global network of more than 120 lifelong learning institutes based at colleges and universities, fostering access to continuous education for mature adults worldwide. And whereas the formation of OLLI at WMU began through a collaborative vision of WMU Emeriti, the Associate Vice President for Community Outreach and Extended University Programs, now WMUX, who in 2010 convened an executive committee dedicated to cultivating community support and participation. And whereas OLLI at WMU thrives as a volunteer-driven organization supported by WMUX, WMU Emeriti, faculty, and community members who teach, coordinate, and help shape the future of lifelong learning. And whereas over the past decade, OLLI at WMU has built a strong and inclusive community of learners in Kalamazoo, one that values curiosity, lifelong learning, and civic engagement. So now, therefore, on behalf of the 55th City Commission and Mayor David F. Anderson of the City of Kalamazoo, do by recognize and celebrate the 10th anniversary of the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at Western Michigan University and commend its ongoing commitment to educational enrichment and community building in our city. Thank you.
Very much for this proclamation. We really appreciate it. There's a lot of hard work that goes into OLLI. I'm joined here by some of the members and Tony, who is our executive director. The proclamation cites most of the things that how we formally describe ourselves. But I will tell you, most of us, if not all of us, are there because we enjoy learning. We enjoy learning when we were undergraduates, graduates in school, and we've continued to enjoy learning throughout our lives. That fun of learning, that joy of learning is what binds us all together. We have a lot of very good courses. Some are quite serious. Some are maybe a lot more practical, like how to take good photographs with your iPhones. They're the sort of thing that we have. What we don't have is, we don't have exams, we don't have homework. There's no grading on the part of the instructors, who are volunteers as well. But most of all, we provide intellectually stimulating courses for people in this county and in the greater Southwest Michigan area, generally speaking, who are over the age of 50. We don't have to have good grades any longer. We're beyond that. But we do have fun. And I think I'm going to stop at that point and say again, thank you very much for this proclamation. We do appreciate it. We take great pride in Ollie at WMU. So thank you very much.
Okay, our next proclamation, and in the theme of education this evening, is recognizing August as Emancipation Celebration Month. And Michelle Johnson is here from the Institute for Public Scholarship. So if you'd like to come up and join Mayor, we will read your proclamation.
It's so beautiful.
Whereas Michigan organizers in Detroit began celebrating the emancipation of enslaved people in the British West Indies on August 1st as early as 1839. And whereas after that time, organizers across the state established August as a time to gather and reflect on the past and present and envision the future for the descendants of enslaved people. And whereas August emancipation celebrations made regional, national, and international connections between the formerly enslaved people and their descendants. And whereas Kalamazoo residents hosted emancipation celebrations in 1846, 1862, and 1894. And whereas Kalamazoo residents figured prominently in statewide celebrations as organizers, speakers, performers, and attendees. And whereas Michigan's Governor Woodbridge N. Ferris supported participation in the nationally significant 1915 Lincoln Jubilee held between August 22nd and September 16th in Chicago that researched and celebrated Black people's international status in 34 countries, 18 states, and Puerto Rico, 50 years after the 13th Amendment was ratified in 1865. And whereas 105 Black delegates from Michigan, including Kalamazoo resident and officer Lulu Margaret Williams, conducted and participated in research to create the Michigan Manual of Freedmen's Progress, prepared exhibits, lectures, performances, and presentations for the August 26 Michigan Day at the Lincoln Jubilee. And whereas the Institute of Public Scholarship endeavors to recall, revive, and deepen these traditions through celebrations, panels, and education. Now, therefore, on behalf of the 55th City Commission and David F. Anderson, Mayor of the City of Kalamazoo, we recognize June 19th to September 16th as Emancipation Celebration Season and encourage all Kalamazoo residents to learn about, recognize, and celebrate initiatives that celebrate diverse expressions of emancipation and the end of slavery. God bless you. Thank you.
I'm going to try not to cry, but thank you so much, commissioners, and I especially want to thank Commissioner Stephanie Hoffman for her encouragement to generate this proclamation. I've studied many proclamations as an historian, but I've never written one of my own, and I must say, I'm hooked. I'm thankful to Vice Mayor Hess for encouraging that process and the many city staff, the many city staff that assisted in this endeavor, as well as the preparation for our Emancipation Celebration Block Party on August 23rd from 11 to 5 between Kalamazoo Avenue and Water Street. I especially want to commend the City of Kalamazoo for their visionary action of issuing this proclamation. I also want to thank the Institute of Public Scholarship staff and their support of this proclamation and the preparation for our first Emancipation Celebration Block Party. Most importantly, I thank the countless ancestors who organized for their own freedom and the freedom of others and insisted that we remember the impact and deep abiding value of these freedoms. One of those ancestors, Kalamazoo resident Lulu Margaret Williams, with a team of Black movers and shakers, organized to gather qualitative and quantitative data that came available in the Michigan Manual of Freedmen's Progress, which, incidentally, has been republished 4 times since 1968 as Negroes in Michigan History by Detroit historian John Green. The Michigan Manual, an over 300-page book, included data on property, businesses, education, cultural life, and health statistics, and was submitted with other elements that documented our status in Michigan at the Lincoln Jubilee held in Chicago in 1915. These organizers carried on emancipation celebrations deeply rooted in Michigan since 1839, when we acknowledged the emancipation of enslaved people in the British West Indies. These celebrations took place across the state in places like Saginaw, Detroit, Jackson, and Kalamazoo, attracting speakers like Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, and William Lambert, and brought together people across the state and the country. Today, we honor the vision of these organizers and deepen their commitment to a long-standing celebration tradition recognizing, building, and nurturing our interconnected stories across city, state, and international boundaries. With endless honor, I accept this proclamation on their behalf, as well as their descendants, and emboldened to continue to share and institutionalize this beautiful part of Kalamazoo and Michigan history, present, and future. Happy Emancipation Celebration season.
Once again, thank you everyone who came down for these important recognitions. These are always high points of our commission meetings. Going on, we have the adoption of the formal agenda. Commissioners, are there any items that you want to add or items on the consent agenda you would like to move to the regular agenda?
Mayor?
Vice Mayor Hess.
I would like to add an item to new business, please, for the city manager search report.
Okay, city manager search report under new business. Anything else, commissioners? All right, then the agenda stands. Next, communications. Manager Ritzma.
Nothing this evening, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Now is the opportunity for public comments. So just a reminder, you have 4 minutes for public comment. You choose the topic you would like to comment on. It isn't an opportunity for dialogue, but it's an opportunity for you to express your opinion on anything you would like. You'll have 4 minutes. If you would, come forward, state your name and whether you live in the city. And if there are particular issues you have concerns about, I would make sure that you do write your contact information down on the sheet here that is off to the side, so if city staff need to follow up with you afterwards. Yes?
Hi, everyone. My name is Tina again. I live on Lake Street, and I live in Kalamazoo in the known floodplain area, the area that always floods. I live next to our last natural green space, Lake to Stockbridge to John, that's been up on the city's destruction list for 7 years. And I know no one up here cares, because no one does anything about it. Sorry if my speech is a little off today, but today is a bad day for me. My husband died 24 years ago today, but I have to waste my time to come down here and speak because I don't trust you. So here we go. I've been coming here for almost 8 years, asking you, begging you over and over again to do something about the flooding. Your storm drains, your storm sewers, your issues in my neighborhood, Edison, Southtown neighborhood, whatever you want to call us. Flooding is getting worse. Now 1.38 inches of rain floods our streets and our neighborhoods. It only started getting worse in 2017 when you started building in my neighborhood, when you started taking away natural spaces. Can you not see this? Every land in my neighborhood you take away and build, you drowned us more. All we want is dry streets, just like the rest of the neighborhoods in Kalamazoo have. Yes, Kalamazoo is growing. Rent is so high in Kalamazoo. All of you are sitting up there watching families and residents get kicked out of their homes. They're becoming homeless. They come here and ask for help because they can't afford this high rent in Kalamazoo. It's ridiculous. You build all those apartments, $1,200 to $1,400 a month for a studio? That's ridiculous. Then you got to pay high water bill for water you can't drink. All right, guys, it's really getting old, waiting on progress that will never come. Unless we make a change, Kalamazoo, November 4th, get out and vote. We can make a change if we all do it together, and we can do it. Because it should not matter who you are, what you are, who you look like, your zip code, your income, or your neighborhood. We all need clean air to breathe and clean water to drink and a place to call home. Fairness should be for everyone, every neighborhood. We need change because who we have now are not caring. Who we have now on the boards, including the mayor, are only out for the money train, not for you or I. So please, everyone listening, make a point to vote, because we can change this. It's coming. We can do it together. You need to listen to the people who are running. I've listened to Chris Glasser for mayor. I think he'll do good for Kalamazoo. He cares about everybody. He doesn't just care about the money. Drew Duncan for commissioner. Listen to them. They are out there for you. They listen. They care. Check them out. You won't know unless you listen to them. I've been to their meetings, and they really seem like they care about the people of Kalamazoo. And it doesn't matter if you have money to hand out to people to get this project and that project and this project. Well, you've got people all over the place, nowhere to live. Can't afford the water bill, can't afford food, can't afford the rent, and we flood. And you do nothing about nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, my name is Jess Thompson. I live in the Vine neighborhood. I am a small business owner. I own Be Joyful Shop in downtown Kalamazoo, and I just wanted to come and say thank you for the composting pilot program that has started. And it's very exciting. As most of you may know, food waste is the largest material in our landfills and causes methane gas when it's in there. So composting is one of the easiest ways to reduce our methane emissions that we have. There is this pilot program that has been started, and I want to thank Justin Gish and Chris Broadbent for their hard work that they have put into this. Currently, I believe there's 6 carts that have been distributed throughout our neighborhoods, and I am the most current one. My cart was just delivered to the store, so now we have composting for the residents and businesses for downtown Kalamazoo, and I just hope that this is a program that continues to grow, and I thank you all for your work on that. In the 4 days since I have posted and let our community know that we have this program downtown, I've had about 20 people reach out and ask if this is something that they could have at their homes. So this is something that the people want. I hope that it continues to grow in the neighborhoods and that it can get to that point where we have recycling bins, trash bins, and our composting bins. So thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, I'm Kay. I've been outside, trying to encourage people to come to city meetings, to go to county meetings. I wish I could spread myself out to everything and just have my toes dipped in everything, but it feels like I'm already doing that, and I don't know, I agree with Tina. More than ever, it's time to hold elected officials accountable because this is the calm before the storm in Kalamazoo. And what is happening in DC, what has been happening in LA, the political repression, it's real. It's real against Black and brown communities. And the housing crisis, I see the kind of the energy in Kalamazoo with politicians and just I would say the upper class Kalamazoo, I call them the bougie in Kalamazoo, just really quiet. It's the same with what is happening nationally with the housing crisis. There's no solution in sight, but there's really no real push to say this is the centralized effort that we're gonna take to address this, to be ready, or at this point to address it, right? But what can politicians do? What push can y'all give the government, the state, to protect people who are about to lose Medicaid, who are losing Medicaid, who are being displaced, who are losing income, who are losing the network, the economic network, support network that this government owes us as taxpayers. Instead, it's going towards repressing LA. It's going towards more money for ICE in October. And this is what I'm saying. It's the calm before the storm, because we're talking about billions of dollars going to the organized effort to kidnap people, take people off the streets. And yes, it's very quiet in Kalamazoo, right? Because we don't have a 287G agreement like Grand Rapids does, and you all don't have activists that are out here saying, hey, rescind this, right? But we're asking y'all to stand in solidarity with them instead of pushing back. And I say this to everybody who is listening right now, who has a different opinion than me, that maybe is not as progressive as me. This is our reality as a country. We are not exempt. Kalamazoo is not exempt or separated from what is happening nationally. It's only a matter of time, and our complacency with this is gonna be our downfall. If we do not get up, if we don't organize, if we don't hold elected officials accountable, if we don't demand that we get changed, that we get different people on this board, like they were mentioning. I support Drew. Everything that he says, everything that he stands for, these are bold takes that we need to take, that y'all need to start taking, because the situation is very serious, and we don't have time to argue whether somebody's approach is too much or because we're cussing and shit. That's fine. You know what I mean? That's not your take, but your take could be mutual aid. Your take could be supporting us at the state level, supporting the legislation that supports, protects renters from eviction, supporting grassroots efforts, other things besides sitting here complacent thinking that this is not going to happen to us, or thinking that burying our heads in the ground is going to protect us from what is to come, okay? Because this is not, if you don't take this in your hands, this is in the hands of Trump, and this is what he's doing to black and brown people, okay? This is what he's doing to my community. So yes, I'm going to be very vocal. And I know that the whole point is to scare people, is to repress the community, to show the force that they have, but we're not fucking scared.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, my name is Shona. And I know y'all get tired of seeing us. We get tired of seeing y'all. Y'all should be doing y'all job as elected officials. Be out here, boots on the ground, and do the job. Not just sit back, put your heads down, and just think that if you ignore it long enough, it's gonna go away. No, it's became a bigger issue. There's a real housing crisis in Kalamazoo, in Michigan, across the nation. What are we going to do to make sure our unhoused, our children, our vets, our seniors, our single parents are not on these streets, are safe, have a home of their own, have food on the table? What is it going to take for you guys to realize that's important? Not building dumb things downtown because it looks pretty. If a town looks pretty and your citizens are unhappy, you failed. You're failing us in every way possible. You wanted this job. You wanted to be elected in these seats. So what are you doing to make sure your citizens are protected, are okay, are not out on the street or about to be out on that street? Because when that big, beautiful bill rolls out in October, can you just imagine how many more people are going to be out on the street? Food stamps are gone, Medicaid, Medicare, jobs. You think you got a housing crisis now? Wait till that big, beautiful bill rolls out. And there's going to be so many more people out on the street. What are you going to do? Give them a bus ticket out of town? Ask KDPS to continue these sweeps? Do better. It's election year. Don't think that we're not paying attention, because we are. We're gonna unseat y'all one at a time. Because what Drew was speaking about and what Drew has been out here doing is what y'all should have been doing the day y'all took the oath to sit in these seats. But instead, y'all are following suit of the status quo of what some of these other city commissioners and mayor has done. Nothing. Or make sure those that are rich, white, or in power are the ones that y'all are concerned about. What are y'all gonna do when this city is out here on the street, or don't even give a damn what y'all are doing and stop supporting you? Don't show up to seniors where they live to try to get votes. No, come out here where it's real at, real votes. We matter. We're not gonna go away. We're gonna continue to show up, show out, and be here because we love our community. We want better for our community. And y'all know ICE is coming. And y'all should already be ready to say, we're not gonna work with ICE. But we know the mighty dollar for Anderson is big, and he's gonna cave. And y'all gonna cave right with him and say, yes, go ahead and vote yes for 287. Because y'all are cowards. You're not doing what's best. Because if y'all not gonna show up, this community is gonna show up for those that are gonna be put in harm's way for y'all voting yes on that 287 and not doing y'all jobs to make sure those that are out in the street, those that are still housed, are protected. Do better.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hi, Hi there, I am Jane Ghosh, and as you know, I'm president and CEO of Discover Kalamazoo, 240 West Michigan. What you may not know is that I took this position to lead our destination marketing organization after a multi-decade career in corporate America, basically. I did not have any experience in destination marketing when I took this job almost 5 years ago. So one of the first things I did on the advice of my peers was to take the coursework to become a certified destination management executive. And I'm pleased to let you know that I achieved that accreditation last year. One of the biggest parts to become a certified destination management executive was to actually do a research report and write a paper and have it be reviewed. And I chose to do my final report on the work that was happening at the time and continues to happen in the city of Kalamazoo to convert lodging properties into transitional housing to help the people who do not have, stable homes in our community. And upon doing that research, I learned that the city of Kalamazoo is visionary and has absolutely been at the forefront of that initiative. And I know it has been led by the city, by many of the people on this dais, and from a personal capacity, Mayor Anderson, in working for the first example to convert the Knights Inn into transitional housing that got people who otherwise did not have stable housing off the streets into a property. And it was a win for those community members. It was a win for our community at large. And it was actually also a win for Discover Kalamazoo. It is helpful for us as a Convention and Visitors Bureau to have properties that are primarily used not for out-of-town visitors, but as short-term housing, to actually have those properties, as the mayor knows, converted into proper housing and make sure that they're up to code as proper housing and everything is done for the benefit of the unhoused. So as I say, the city of Kalamazoo has been on the forefront of that. I support the work that is happening. I understand that there's an agenda item tonight, and I think that pausing that program to make sure that that housing is actually fit for purpose for the people it is intended to provide housing for is absolutely the right decision. So I'm here to applaud the commission and thank you for all the visionary work that you do to create more housing for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please. Seeing no one else, this is
Hey everyone, Silvano, thank you for always listening. I also want to give you guys some flowers. You guys did amazing at reacting to the community concerns regarding KDPS wearing masks in our neighborhood, so thank you. That really did help the community. I do also want to point out that the flooding is not something new, as Tina has been saying for years. It affects my home, my basement, my yard gets flooded. That's not my primary concern, but it's something that we can do and we should do better together. I do think that it is also on us to be proactive before ICE does show up in our neighborhood and starts knocking on doors. We can do better. Kalamazoo is a great place to live. We can do better on that. So that's all I have for you guys this week.
Thank you. Next, please.
Hello, I'm Claire. I wanted to join the voices in calling for the commission to not only not participate in, but also strongly denounce the 287G agreement. At this point, what you do as city commissioners and mayor of Kalamazoo will speak louder than your words ever could. The use of your voice or the absence of it sends a clear message. You are either standing with your community or you are standing against it. There is no middle ground, and your community knows that. Last time I was here, I mentioned that denouncing 287G is the bare minimum of what we can do. We can, like Savannah said, do a lot better. And stopping the sweeps on our unhoused neighbors, that and the 287G agreement, denouncing that is the bare minimum. So I wanted to elaborate on other things that we could do as a community if you do choose to stand with us. So we need expanded protections for the most vulnerable populations of Kalamazoo, including protecting the same against state violence and aiding the community in creating funds for affected families and communities. You can support grassroots organizations, and you can establish sanctuary policies and systems of protection earlier rather than later, yesterday. You can aid in the fight as well for other counties and neighboring counties to terminate existing 287G agreements. Those and more are the things that your community is demanding that you do. Take a stand now, like literally right now. If not, we will all know that your silence is complicity, and so do you.
Thank you. Next, please.
Drew Duncan, City of Kalamazoo. First, thank you to the Commission for earlier last year we talked about the Zero Barrier Shelter. City Manager Ritzma and the commissioners that went to South Bend and viewed that and brought that program here. We're very grateful for that. Also, to my understanding, there's more programs that we're working on for this winter. But I know it might not be in fashion because it's like 100 degrees outside, but we have started training volunteers for this winter. It is a fear that we will need more warming centers and beds that we have in our city and county. So if someone from the commission would see fit, we would love to have a liaison from the city to help us engage with faith institutions, buildings, etc. We just are planning for a cold winter. We know that it comes every winter. We know that we had a tragedy last winter, and we just want to engage with our city leaders and build relationships with as many people as we can. We're willing to provide the labor so that we can keep people warm and alive this winter, but we would just really appreciate if we could get some backup from our electeds, as you guys are able to get in rooms and have relationships with people that we do not. So willing to engage with anyone on that matter, but that work is happening right now with a sense of urgency before snow begins to fall. I understand it's still the winter, but we don't want to be at this podium in the wintertime screaming, saying, hey, how are we going to keep people alive? So we're trying to get that work done right now before weather changes, so that we can protect the most vulnerable. So I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, please. Seeing no one else. Next item on our agenda is public hearings. I would like to thank everyone that came down and took advantage of our public comment time. Thank you for taking the time and making the effort. I appreciate it. Manager Ritzma.
Public hearing this evening to receive comments on the establishment of a neighborhood enterprise zone within 3 blocks bounded by East Frank Street, Walbridge Street, East Ransom Street, and North Pitcher Street.
Thank you, Manager Ritzma. Is there a report on this item?
Yeah, our Assistant City Planner, Bobby Durkee, has got a brief presentation on this. Bobby?
Welcome, Bobby Durkee.
Thank you. Good evening, City Manager Ritzma and Mayor Anderson. Do you have a brief presentation, and Clerk Borling is pulling it up now. Thank you. All right, the NEZ in front of the commission tonight, back in January and February, there was another NEZ downtown proposed. And this NEZ is northeast of downtown, and it relates to the transformational brownfield, which is starting to move forward. Back in June, a few staff of us presented the transformational brownfield and some of the associated local requests that had come with that. And for a development associated with that at 619 Porter Street, this is the first local request related to transformational brownfield, but is also a development that the city has seen before. 619 Porter is a proposed 58 unit being a residential dwelling and apartment, mixed use of currently a vacant site. There was a vacant building there for a long time. It was torn down. It's completely vacant now, with a portion of the existing building closer to Ransom and Porter running up right there. We'd be on Porter looking at the building right now towards downtown. And this NEZ is part of the package or the incentives to help bring that transformational project together, which also involves the courthouse and the building. The address escapes me. It's also on the agenda on East Kalamazoo Ave. In 2022, this project did receive site plan approval. It's kind of emblematic of a lot of developments where usually site plan approval is one of a stack of items before you start construction, but with construction costs, inflation, and everything else, the development did not move forward at that time and is now part of this transformational brownfield. What is the NEZ? The NEZ allows an opportunity for a developer to qualify for up to 15 years of tax abatement, and the last 3 years of those get tiered back to 100%. It's a reduction of ad valorem taxes. So again, here on the left there is an aerial of the site. Ransom runs along the south there. Porter is the road that runs up right in the middle. And you can kind of see close to the left that little angled line, that's a train track. And just to the right there in the middle, there's a vacant piece of grass. That's where the 619 Porter would go. And the NEZ district was expanded beyond this block to be what I call its Tetris piece, if you've ever played that game, between 3 blocks, and I have a map on that next. And there's the other building, Spearflex building is the term that was escaping me. I wanted to say Shakespeare's, but I knew that was not correct. And then also other local support that is, I believe on the agenda tonight, is a commercial rehabilitation district. Those would be the 2 local incentives, which would be part of the brownfield. It's not part of the transformational brownfield, but part of the development to help to see it through. The years of support, in 2020, getting my years mixed up, 24, 23, the city of Kalamazoo adopted an NEZ policy. At that time, that was approved with the Rose and Eleanor Water Park NEZ, which is just over from us downtown. People might be familiar with the construction occurring on Rose Street between Kalamazoo Ave and Michigan Avenue. That is, I can't think of the exact number of units. I want to say it's 100-some units, mixed-use development, very similar. And that project, you can tell, is getting closer and closer to wrapping up. And this is a very similar project coming down the path. The area is zoned Live Work 2, which is primarily a mixed-use district. Part of the NEZ Act talks about an area zoned primarily for commercial uses or a downtown district. The district has to be contiguous. This land use in this northeast part of downtown, to the further north you have industrial land uses. You have a lot of existing single-family homes in this area. To the southeast is the development of the developments rising there in front of the Harrison Circle. So looking at all the different land uses, the NEZ, between the original proposal in and around the block where the developer owns property, city staff prefers to keep it within city blocks so the lines don't cross property lines. And in order to grab that block up to the northeast where there's some vacant land, some developer-owned property, we thought it could open up opportunities for an NEZ district. This one is proposed to sunset after 5 years. So while the district is created, the certificates would run longer than the district. So while the district would be there for 5 years, that means any time in those 5 years, a new owner or developer could apply for certificates. And so what are the criteria, what prevents these NEZ zones from going all over the place? Currently, with this, 1.5% of the city's land area would be NEZ, the vast majority of that being a big chunk of the Vine neighborhood, which is 2008 Homestead NEZ for new single-family homeowners. And it only applies to property owners or the homeowners. And the Act does permit up to 10 or 15% of a city's land area to be NEZ, so we aren't bumping into extending that geography. So again, a little bit of the rehash here. The NEZ provides years of support. Developers or property owners could apply for certificates, and interesting nuances, it only applies to a new property owner. There would not be an incentive for an existing current owner to apply for a certificate. What are the ways in the policy that someone can qualify? On the NEZ map, you'll see urban core, urban center, and I forget the third term, I should know it. Those same rings match the county housing plan, which I would encourage people, if they haven't seen the 2025 housing plan for the Kalamazoo County, those match the same, where when the policy was created, the intent was different types of housing are needed in different places across the county. So particular in Kalamazoo, some of our highest densities, the only places in the county are right in our downtown. And those housing units are obviously needed in that area. You're not going to put a 12-story high-rise, say, at the south end of the county as opposed to downtown. And similarly, different densities and housing types where you're missing duplexes, fourplexes, 6 units, single-family homes, large apartments. That is a more broad housing type need spelled out. So what I'm saying is in that county housing plan, it breaks down single-family home, duplex, multifamily, and shows the number needed by geographic location in the county. So our policy was intended to match those. So why is there a surface reduction of parking in this zone? Because to achieve higher numbers of units where our zoning code allows parking, a developer can propose less parking, which is the case here. In the urban center, which is that secondary ring, an NEZ can qualify when they provide 20% of the units at 80% of AMI rent or above, or below. And then there's the county housing plan I mentioned. And 619 Porter is multi-unit dwellings. It's an apartment, and this would satisfy a part of the total numbers that the county identifies as needing. Where the need is, when I say the need, is the number of dwelling units to keep up with current population needs. And lastly, any questions on that? So again, as a reminder, this is a proposal, or it's not the proposal, it's the public hearing for the district creation. There's the first public hearing after the letters are sent out. Earlier in July, the city sent notices to any of the taxing jurisdictions that collect taxes, such as the schools, the county, and those other agencies. No comments have been received by me as of today, and I don't believe the city clerk has received any either. The letter directed people to reach out to me, and then today is an opportunity for any of those agencies or interested parties to comment before on September 15th would be a resolution to create the district. And then at which point developers could submit certificates, and the certificates would also receive city commission approval. So there's a lot of information in there. Any questions, I'd be glad to answer them after this.
Thank you very much for being here, Mr. Durkee. Commissioners, questions? Just a reminder, this is not an action item this evening. This is a hearing, so it's just informational. So now is a good time to get some clarity on what's being proposed. Commissioner Cooney.
Thank you, Bobby, for the presentation. When it says 80% of AMI, is that AMI of the city, of the county, or what?
That is a great question. It is 80% is the AMI. It's a figure released by the federal government to counties. So that is the county, I believe it's by county, I'm not as sharp on it. So every year they release the figures, that is the average median income of the geography. So 100% would be the average income of a resident in the city of Kalamazoo. I'm sorry, the county of Kalamazoo, not the city of Kalamazoo, which is a broad difference as far as how you run those averages.
Other questions, commissioners? Commissioner Pradel.
Thank you, Bobby. Mentions on here the action on this item cannot occur until at least 60 days after notice letters went out to the taxing jurisdictions. So when would that point come? When did this clock start with those letters going out, did you mention?
I believe the date is there in the packet. I want to say it was July 7th or 9th. This one, the first one has to be before 45 days, after 60 days is the next one. I don't have that exact figure, somewhere between 65 and 72.
July 7th, and then the public hearing would be September 15th. Just wanted to clarify that. Okay.
And it's a little bit of a tongue twister. The public hearing is less than 45, and then any time after 60 can be the resolution.
Gotcha. The other question I had for you as well is I know this is not per se relevant exactly to this NEZ request, But I know you mentioned the homestead form of NEZ that's in the Vine neighborhood, and I think periodically it comes up with other neighborhoods wondering about the homestead NEZ as opportunities in the neighborhoods. And I think one of the things that comes up from residents is just that you see the NEZs come up for larger developments, but for the more neighborhood-based ones where there is a need for working on their homes or maintaining their homes where there's challenges that exist that might not be happening in the other neighborhoods. And I was just curious if there's much conversation about that in some of the areas that, like this particular NEZ is happening, or other core neighborhoods in the city.
Yeah, there was a meeting and a discussion, particularly about the north side, and what is looked for with that is for a homestead NEZ, the state act references that it is for areas to encourage home ownership where there's a high number of dwelling units that are not owner occupied. So one of the things to look for then is where are the concentrations of areas where there's not owner occupancy. Secondarily, with the focus or thinking of existing residents, an NEZ is an opportunity for anybody new, whether that's purchasing or building new, even just a single family house. The trick with that is opposed to somebody that might be in their house wanting to stay in their house, which was a concern there, is it has the home would be sold, which has the impact on the taxes, which would go up if they weren't homesteaded, and then that reduction is for whoever moves in there, not the existing person. So that is the difference there with the homestead one. And with the Vine one, there was I wasn't working for the city at the time, but I believe part of the intent of it at that time was to try and encourage more home ownership in the Vine neighborhood, whether it was because of the historic standards or student rentals in the area to bring it up. So that was a little discussion that did happen there. And for other neighborhoods, I know that we have information where the Vine neighborhood can reference people to go for ours, or even on the city's website, there's an NEZ landing page with my contact info or a form. If there are neighborhoods interested in exploring it, you can submit that form. Just because some people might, it's a good way to track it, or it could get time with me to investigate or see if there's something there, because you have the act and the local policy, and then obviously the neighborhood need, and then we could at least have that conversation if other neighborhoods are interested.
Thank you.
Other questions, commissioners, at this time? Yeah, Commissioner Wilson.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Bobby, for the presentation. So obviously there's some great use for these zones. I was just wondering what the thought process was behind sunsetting this district after 5 years.
The thought with the sunset was with the changes in the state, I can't remember if I mentioned this, when the NEZ was first created, it was intended for, as I said, owner-occupant houses. A few years ago, the new and rehab NEZs were introduced and allowed more flexibility outside of the downtown to incentivize the multifamily housing. So with the 5 years that has led to a lot of interest in NEZs. With the NEZs come certificates that require staff time. So in the short term, since the policy and the current economic environment, the thought is 5 years is the minimum. We could do longer, but also gives the city time to, hey, we put the NEZ here and was it successful or not? So where the certificates run longer and with the geography limits. So the staff opinion right now is to propose it to be the minimum.
And then that could also be revisited down the line once you see how successful this is, or vice versa, I guess.
Great question. I believe so, but I will look into that and get an update.
All right. Thank you.
Other questions at this time, Commission? Thank you for being here. Just a kind of a quick 30,000-foot kind of view of this. I know we're in a situation now where maybe even more than ever, construction is very, very expensive. It's hard for folks to get anything to pencil out. Even we were subsidized a great deal building single-family homes in the city of Kalamazoo just to provide an opportunity for working people to buy those homes and have a mortgage they could afford. We put a lot of money into a lot of our single-family home development. So there are a variety of tools, and these tools are state-created tools, which they're not tools that we create here locally. So we have to comply with state rules related to property taxes and assessments and so on, and then take advantage of these programs. Do you have any sense of the variety of incentive tools related to property taxes that there might be from the state?
I wish I could say I know more. I'm still learning. But something that I did look up, I can't think of the second one now, or there was one being chatted about in the state, but the focus of residences, or when people see a big development coming, what other options out there. I know another one is the disabled veteran tax relief through it's a state of Michigan program where if you're a disabled veteran, you could have your residential property taxes waived. Where, again, it becomes the county also has the housing fund millage, so there are local options. But again, it's kind of taking those options available and seeing what works. And as you said, the state puts out this broad net and allows the cities to look at it. Our policy helps us solidify that point to be able to implement it for what works with the city of Kalamazoo. And the more I work with the state, that they do respect and understand the local interpretation of things. So how we want to move the border across city blocks, you don't need to get lost into the weeds of the state act for that. It's practical and works for a number of city staff and departments.
Since the NEZ was expanded to include multifamily housing, I would say it is now a very common part for urban core cities to take advantage of that, for the developers to take advantage of that NEZ as part of their package. But even under the NEZ category, like you described, there are different NEZ programs. We were talking about the NEZ Homestead, this particular one, which is there to assist with multi-family development. Do you know if there's other NEZ programs as well?
Yep, the broad is, I mentioned the homestead, which is the single-family home. The new and homestead NEZs are, I forget the nuance, I believe one can be owner-occupied, one has to be a rental. I believe the new has to be a rental. Those have to, the state requires them to be in a mixed-use building. In a new NEZ, you can do any number under certificate. When you do a rehab, you get chunks of, I believe it's 6 or 7 of certificates. So the incentive there is to promote development. If you get into the act, it talks about in the cores of cities. So in a lot of areas, you think of the urban centers of Michigan where there used to be a lot of density. It's where a lot of the infrastructure is. So I view it as a little bit of our mixed use or higher density downtown. The state act incentivizes that density where you've zoned or where the build out of the city is already. So.
You talked about a percentage that any city then is capped in terms of how much of the geography can be designated as an NEZ. Are we anywhere near that at all?
No, we're about 1.4 something, I believe, right now, and with this district, it would put us a little over 1.5%. And the largest one, these ones are just 3 city blocks, cities over 25 square miles, so that would be over about 2.5 square miles of NEZ, which is larger than some small towns. So we have plenty of room, and that extra room would be, think of an area for a homestead NEZ. The reason the Vine covers so much is because of the geography of single-family houses requiring more land.
Yeah. So hey, just one kind of editorial comment on all that, not so much of a question, is that more tools are being created as a variety of folks recognize the big challenge in creating housing these days, and I appreciate that. And in addition to the NEZ that's been around for a while, the brownfield tax credits specifically for housing, which is a relatively new thing now, is a new opportunity to help bring some credit into a housing development, which wasn't there so long ago. And I guess I'll say I appreciate the idea that this is happening at the state level, which is giving locals the opportunity to take advantage of these to help incentivize the creation of housing. Problem is that the locals take the hit on it. So it just gives us the opportunity to not collect property taxes and allow those taxes to pay for costs in the property in essence, so the development can happen. So I understand it's important. Development might not happen otherwise, but it's really, I think it's a weak broth to create something like that, that in essence is then once again saying to the community, well, for a period of time, you're, whatever it's 15 years up to on this, you will literally collect less property taxes. And that's the lifeblood of the city. It's what it pays for our general fund, is collecting property taxes. So kind of editorial comment more than a question, but when I see these kind of initiatives that are recognized and heralded at the state level, as a new innovation, which, okay, I appreciate that effort. I also, at the same time, think, all right, thanks once again for giving us the opportunity to give something up. It's important, but it would be nice if there was a mechanism that kept cities whole when it comes to property taxes. That's how we pay for fire response. That's how we pay for plowing our streets and that sort of thing. Thank you so much. I appreciate being here, and I look forward to increased expertise out of your office when it comes to this. No more questions. Now is the opportunity for public comments on this item. You'll have 3 minutes. If you want to comment specifically on this item, please come forward. State your name and whether you live in the city.
Tijuana, and I live on the north side of Kalamazoo, and I've been a resident on the north side for 48 years all my life. Because of the tax increase, my mortgage has been raised twice. I am asking this commission to work with groups who are working to help current homeowners get the same tax breaks just like developers. What good is an increase in value of our homes if it forces me out of the neighborhood? Giving tax breaks to the developers and raising taxes for current homeowners is not fair. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
It's Maddie Jordan Woods, so I'm going to talk really fast. I did not mean to make this particular comment, but I think it's important that you as commissioners know that we all, those of us who have been around a long time, know that you have been working to address homelessness and everything else. And yes, there's been times when I've come up here and really been upset, but I just want to give you all your kudos that you have been working. No, I don't agree with the proposal that was that they worked, but I just want to tell you thank you for that. The second thing that I want to say is in 2018, this commission commissioned the Northside Cultural Business District, where one of the incentives had to do with increasing resident-owned businesses. And in order to be able to do that, that was allowing for those tax dollars that are generated. So I hope that when you all are looking at your decisions that you look at that. And I want to make it clear, the Northside Cultural Business District is voting on Thursday whether or not to, one, either do 0% or 50% or a community benefit that has to do with this. So I hope that anyone is here, that they will attend. But more important, I totally agree as a Northside resident. Now I'm out of the box from being the chair of the Northside Cultural Business, and as a Northside resident, we have to do something that increases the assistance for people who live in the neighborhoods. It is not only is it not fair, it's not practical, because when developers get ready to move, they move. And the people who actually stay here, they have been here, they've been paying taxes, and to only talk about incentives that's for new housing and new that, it won't work. it's working for developers, but it's not working for homeowners. And so I ask this commission that before you pass a NEZ zone, that is saying to the residents that we're going to give developers incentives, and they're asking for 25 years. I don't know where the 5 years is coming from, but the proposal that was here last month, where I got up and I asked this commission to look at how will we help current homeowners who live in that area. So I'm going to say again, please do not just listen to part of it and what's good for developers when you have long-term residents who have stayed no matter what, have paid taxes no matter what, and there is no incentives for long-term homeowners. Thank you very much. Thank you all for agreeing to be commissioners, because we know it is not an easy job. So I want to thank you, but yes, when we are upset, we do get up here and talk smack. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
It's just, yeah, it's just really close to a lot of the homelessness that is downtown, and I feel like sometimes it's like a missed opportunity. Like, it sounds good on paper, 80% AMI, you know, still is part of the Alice community and still deals with a lot of the housing issues, but it's like, where you have this concentrated group of struggling homeowners, struggling people, struggling Alice communities, like 30 to 40% AMI in the city. I feel like, you know, like, if we want to talk about the housing crisis, like, we need to do more for 30 or 40%. Like 80%, it just feels like gentrification. It feels like encroaching on a issue downtown that has not been addressed, that is the houseless crisis. Like, you know, having warming centers or cooling centers, like, that's nonprofit work. It helps people. I'm not condemning. I actually love that, and I actually want to volunteer for those things. But, like, we need to do more, right? We need more housing for 30 to 40%. We need more wrap around house, like, services and housing. Like, this is just like, it just feels like an encroachment. I would say, like, yes, when we talk about housing, let's talk about housing for the real population, like the people who are on the verge of eviction, the people who are on a 30 to 40% AMI, you know, a little more for the local community that is here, because, like, who from the community is gonna, like, what are also the stipulations of, like, who's gonna rent out these apartments, right? Is it gonna be a push for, like, people out from outside of Kalamazoo, or is this going to benefit the Kalamazoo community that is, you know, going to live around, that is living around that space, so that neighborhood. So just some things to think about, because I feel like I don't want to crush the dreams and I don't want to crush housing, but I just, like, would like to see some more robust programs, taking more advantage of, like, these incentives that developers are getting to actually, like, want to do more for the bigger, larger community that is in need. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, please.
To me, this project kind of sounds like you're gentrifying, redlining the north side to get rid of our black and brown people down there and make it in a white neighborhood. To me, if you're giving tax cuts and breaks and all that to those that are developing, why are we not doing this for our citizens? There are so many people struggling to pay mortgage, to pay their tax on their property. I mean, my dad's a veteran and on the verge of losing his house, like almost a year after my mom passed. He shouldn't even be at that verge of losing his house. He's a veteran, he's a senior, and y'all are just worried about giving tax credits and to those that are developing. Why are we not focusing on our citizens, making sure that they're not going to lose their houses, making sure that there are programs and incentives and things for them, not developers? Obviously, if you're going to develop something, you have money, you have things. But what about our citizens when it comes to what you're giving these developers? Do you guys just want more people out on the street? I'm fighting like hell to keep my dad in this house. And I work for KPS that don't pay much. But I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure he don't lose his house. Just like I'm gonna do whatever I can to make sure other people in this community get the same treatment, the same resources, the same respect that they deserve, like those that have money.
Thank you. Does anyone else want to comment? Seeing no one else, I am closing the public hearing. There's no action to be taken at this time. Next is the consent agenda. Manager Ritzma.
The following items are presented for approval. Item number 1, approval of a contract supplemental and change order with A1 Asphalt for the 2025 annual patching project in the amount of $130,000. Next is the approval of a sole source agreement extension with EnviroSuite for 2025-2026 odor monitoring and incident investigation system in the amount of $139,344. Next is the approval of a 1-year professional service contract with GHD Service for environmental consulting at the Cork Street landfill in the amount of $139,925, and approval of a budget amendment in the amount of $15,635. Next is the approval of a contract with Colorward Group for site work and park renovations at Princeton Park in the amount of $198,753.62. Next is the approval of a cooperative contract with Spartan Emergency Response for the purchase of a fire apparatus pumper in the amount of $821,026. Next is the adoption of a resolution granting eligibility for a payment in lieu of taxes to Crosstown Seniors Limited Dividend Housing, LLC. Next is the adoption of a resolution approving a change in the street lighting contract with Consumers Energy due to changes in lighting at Westnedge and Kalamazoo Avenues. Next is the adoption of a resolution rescinding Resolution 24-65, which approved a 10-year 5% payment in lieu of taxes for A&R Kalamazoo Limited Dividend Housing Association, LLC, for a project at 1500 East Kilgore Road due to the lack of a federally aided mortgage required by Section 35-4 of the Kalamazoo City Code. Next is the adoption of a resolution setting a public hearing for September 2, 2025, to receive comments on the establishment of a commercial redevelopment district at 227 West Michigan Avenue. Next is the adoption of a resolution setting a public hearing for September 2, 2025, to receive comments on the establishment of a commercial rehabilitation district at 261 East Kalamazoo Avenue. Next is the adoption of a resolution recommending approval of an off-premises tasting room license for New Belgium Brewing Company, Incorporated, doing business as Bell's Brewery at 355 East Kalamazoo Avenue. Next is the approval of a parking lease agreement with WMed for 120 reserved spaces in the Epic Center ramp. Next is the approval of an extension to the 2022 grant provided to Kalamazoo Neighborhood Housing Services in the amount of $250,000 from the Housing Development Fund to rehabilitate 4 single-family homes for lease purchase to low-income families. Next is to rescind the development agreement for the Home Investment Partnership Program loan in the amount of $400,000 with A&R Kalamazoo Limited Development Housing Associations, LLC, for the rehabilitation of 1500 East Kilgore Road. Next is the approval of a request from Western Michigan University to publicly display fireworks at Himes Field at Waldo Stadium on September 27 and November 11, 2025. Next is the approval of an extension to the 2023 grant in the amount of $770,000 provided to the Kalamazoo Neighborhood Housing Services for the coronavirus state and local fiscal recovery funds received from the U.S. Department of Treasury under the American Rescue Plan Act to construct 8 new single-family homes. Next is the acceptance of a holiday events grant from the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation to fund the 2025 holiday events and programming in the amount of $80,000. Next is the approval of the following appointment and reappointment to the Zoning Board of Appeals. The reappointment of Alvin Sylvester as an alternate member for a full term expiring on March 31, 2028, and the appointment of Jack Urban as an alternate member for a partial term expiring on March 31, 2026. Next is the approval of minutes from the City Commission meetings on August 4, 2025. And finally, approval of the purchase of 808 Simpson Street from the Kalamazoo County Treasurer for the amount of $1,469.26. And this item will be postponed until September 2, 2025.
Thank you very much, Manager Ritzma. Commissioners, the requested action is a motion to approve items 1 through 19 and postpone item 20 until September 2nd, 2025, and authorize the city manager to sign all related documents on behalf of the city. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Pradel.
Support. Commissioner Cooney.
Supported by Commissioner Cooney. Discussion? No. Consent agenda. Please call the roll.
Commissioner Hoffman?
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel?
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess?
Yes.
Mayor Anderson?
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney?
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. Items on the consent agenda are approved. Now we're at the regular agenda. City Manager Ritzma.
Item H1, approval of an extension to the 2022 grant in the amount of $1 million provided to Kalamazoo Neighborhood Housing Services from the Coronavirus State and Local Fiscal Recovery Funds received from the U.S. Department of Treasury under the American Rescue Plan Act to rehabilitate 14 single-family homes.
Thank you so much. Is there a staff report on this item?
Our Housing Development Supervisor, Sherilyn Parsons, is here if there are any questions.
Questions, Commissioners? Seeing question, Vice Mayor Hess.
Sure. I wonder if Sherilyn could approach the podium. And, you know, having read the packet, it makes sense to me, but would you put this in a nutshell for the listening public, please?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. Good evening. So this is just an administrative extension. Currently, we do not have an administrative policy that lets staff do an extension of an agreement, even if it's just administrative. So this is an agreement that went forward with the coronavirus dollars that the city received. And within our agreements, we do something called activity or benchmarks, where the funding goes out based on activity, and then there are benchmarks. This was a rehab and a sale type of agreement, and so 9 of the properties have either been sold or are under contract to sell, but there is a handful of the properties that the rehab has not completed. It is under works, but it's not completed. So the dollars are primarily expended, but the activity is not done in accordance with our original agreement. So we had to extend the date that KNHS, our community partner in this particular agreement, has to complete the work and sell these properties. And so this isn't a concern for staff regarding the expenditure of funds, but rather just a need for additional time to get the work done itself.
Questions, Commissioners? Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Sherilyn. So we know that those ARPA dollars have to be expended by the end of next year.
Yes.
What is the term of the extension for all of these things?
Yep, so we did put the extension to the end of next year, just so that you wouldn't have to see me up here again. The addresses that are still remaining are already in works of having their rehab completed. And so we would expect that we would come in well within the end of 2026, but we did extend it out through the full term. And then just to further elaborate on that, so we would expect, though, the full expenditure of those dollars to be completed prior to the sale of the home. The sale of the home is what we gave till the end of 2026. So expenditure of funds we would expect first, second quarter of 2026. Thank you.
And then are we confident, is KNHS confident that they have the capacity to get the work done, and are they being supported in that way too?
Yes, and I did actually invite the executive director of KNHS, Beth McCann, here to speak to this also, if you would like to hear from her. But we did, as staff, we did have extensive conversations to see exactly where they were at. Of the remaining properties, we also wanted to see that they were under contract for rehabilitation and not. So there's a process with the rehabilitation where you actually build the specs, and that's the work that needs to be done. And then you put that out to bid. Like any development, those are time, they take time to do those. So we wanted to see where they were at in the process, and they are at that contracted part, which means sort of all that administrative work has already been done, and now it's just getting the actual hammers flying and the nails pounding to get the completion of the rehab. Yes.
Other questions, commissioners? Thank you very much, Sherilyn. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Seeing no other questions, now is an opportunity for anyone who would like to comment on this item. It's item H1 on the regular agenda. If you want to comment on it, please come forward, state your name, whether you live in the city, and you'll have 3 minutes. Seeing no one, the recommended action is a motion to approve. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Hoffman. Supported by Commissioner Cooney. Discussion, commissioners. Commissioner Pradel.
Yeah.
I wanted to know why those funds from the city aren't for the township, for the rehab of the home.
I'm sorry, could you clarify your question a little bit?
I want to know why the funds that you guys have for the city and rehabbing the homes are not for the township.
Okay, thank you very much. City funds are only spent in the city, so we don't fund things in the township or the city of Galesburg or anywhere else. City money is just spent in the city, and whatever funds the township might raise for that kind of work would be spent in a given township. So the city, we don't cross jurisdictional boundaries. We wouldn't even by law be able to do that. We don't spend our city resources outside of the city. So I'm just going to stop there at that point because I just want to help you with that question. So I gave you the opportunity to come up even though I closed the public comment, so I appreciate that. At this point, then, commissioners, is there any discussion? Commissioner Pradel.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yes.
At the, here in the city, there was work done down on North Street. And there's some of the homes there were put sewer drainage from the curb from the city side all the way to the home. Some of those homes did not get the sewer done. And I also had made a comment on that when they came out, that the drainage was not done there. I know I'm kind of late. I know I'm out of.
So this is supposed to be on this topic in particular. This is this comment time. So this is related specifically to this. So I would just suggest right now, write your name down over here with specific questions. City staff will get back in touch with you on
I've
that.
been down here at the city all this week and all last month.
Okay,
And,
I'm sorry
it
about
has
that.
not been addressed. And I've
Okay.
been trying to talk to the city attorney about this work being done, and it has not been done.
Okay, we'll follow up with you. If you just make sure you get your contact information over there, I'm sure someone will follow up with you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So back to item H1. Commissioner Pradel.
Sure. I was curious also, I wonder if there's anybody from city staff that might have a second to talk as well. There's a number of our city staff members who are way more knowledgeable than all of us on a lot of these as well that could maybe touch base with you as well.
Thank you, Commissioner Pradel.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to mention, I'm pretty familiar with the work KNHS does, and they do a lot of incredibly heavy lifts related to housing in our community. And when you look at the list of items that have been done, they are very close to completing a lot of these grants. I think, like, when you look at all the headwinds that communities and people, especially who are working in housing, have faced over the last 5 years, everything from material to labor cost, inflation, to even just the city taking longer to do permit inspections than usual. It's perfectly reasonable and fair to provide them this extension, especially because we have the runway through December 31st, 2026 to spend COVID funds to finish the work. So I'm definitely supportive of this. They're doing a lot of great work in the community, everything from lead remediation to roofs to down payment assistance to from scratch builds to rehab. And I know Beth and her team have been super supportive. If you ever want to tour one of the homes that they're working on or the rehab homes that they're working on, really impressive work that they're doing. So I will be supporting it.
Thank you, Commissioner Pradel. Other comments on this item? All right, seeing none then, the recommended action is a motion to approve. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion made by Commissioner Pradel.
Support.
Supported by Vice Mayor Hess. Did we already do this?
We had a motion on the floor.
Thank you. All right. And remind me who made that motion.
Is Commissioner Hoffman, seconded by Commissioner Cooney.
Right. Now it comes back. Okay, thank you so much. So, Commissioners, now is the time for the roll call. Clerk Barley.
Commissioner Hoffman.
Yes.
Commissioner Pradel.
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hess.
Yes.
Mayor Anderson.
Yes.
Commissioner Cooney.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioners. The motion passes. Next, reports and legislation. Manager Ritzma.
Yeah, a few items this evening. First, it feels like summer is almost done here in Kalamazoo, but we have one last weekend of activities in Parks and Rec. We have our final summer cinema this Saturday, Spring Valley Park, and the movie is Twisters. So I checked, there's no severe weather that night, so we should be okay. Learn to Kayak at Woods Lake is being offered this weekend as well. kzooparks.org /youth paddle. That's free, and however, there are 50 limited spots for kids, and it runs from 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. So I should clarify, the summer cinema is Friday night, 8:20 on the 22nd, and the kayaking is Saturday morning, 8:23. And then one note from our public safety chief. And thanks to the new ordinance for the mobile nuisance parties, they have seen a dramatic reduction in the activity of the mobile nuisance parties as of late. So to date, they've issued 673 warning letters that have been sent by certified mail, and 192 letters have been served in person. Only 41 chose to ignore the letters and had vehicles impounded. 6 of the vehicles were impounded more than once, and 8 additional vehicles are pending impoundment. So just want to thank the commission for putting more teeth behind the ordinance, and we are seeing some results that are really helping keeping the peace in our neighborhood. So That's my report this evening.
Thank you, Manager Ritzma. Next on our agenda, new business, Vice Mayor Hess.
Thank you, Mayor. Take a few minutes here to update folks with the city manager search as we get closer and closer to that date when Jim Ritzma will take leave of City Hall in November. First of all, the post for the city manager position is live currently. That is on the Reftelis website and has been posted with the following organizations: the International City and County Management Association, the National Forum for Black Public Administrators, Michigan Municipal League, Ohio Municipal League, LinkedIn as a job ad, League of Women in Government, Local Government Hispanic Network, and Indiana Association of Cities and Towns. It is also available through the link on the city manager website on Kalamazoo's website, kalamazoocity.org/city manager search. And there will be a link to that. The application itself is on the Reftelis website. And you can continue to do the community survey, which is here. There are copies downstairs outside the clerk's office off of South Street. And again, the survey is also on the city manager website. Please do that. And let's see, the survey is here too. So on August 12th, 2025, Reftelis convened a community stakeholders session to discuss the city manager recruitment. Representatives from 22 organizations were invited to participate. Of the 22 organizations invited to participate, 10 attended the session. These 10 included representation from the following organizations: The Promise, WMU, Discover Kalamazoo, the Vine Neighborhood, the City of Portage, Northside Ministerial Alliance, Isaac, NAACP, the Northside Community Association, and Kalamazoo County. The consultant has provided contacts for the organizations that were not able to attend the stakeholder meeting, and they will reach out to them this week to seek their input. During the community stakeholder session on the 12th, I and Commissioner Wilson welcomed and thanked the participants for their interest in the process and their willingness to attend the session. The consultant then facilitated a process that enabled the participants to spend time discussing and identifying the top 5 traits needed in the next city manager, the three top priorities for the next city manager, sharing advice for the next city manager, and sharing anything else they would like for the commission to consider when selecting the next city manager. Also, in response to the public comment and the feedback related to the continued transparency and DEI from the Commission during the August 11th Commission meeting, the consultant spent time with the representatives in attendance at the stakeholder session on the 12th, sharing a method for how they could conduct a similar session with their individual groups, if desired, and provide the information directly to Reftelis. The participants were reminded that the survey will be active until August 24th, 2025. And as of this morning, today, August 18th, 356 surveys have been shared with the consultant in response to the electronic survey. Paper surveys will be sent also to her. And I will continue to give these updates as time moves on at every meeting with what's been going on. That said, I would like now to motion that we hold a special committee of the whole on October 14th, Tuesday, October 14th at 4 p.m. for interviews of up to 5 candidates after a public meet and greet and tour on October 13th. So this would be a special meeting. It would be our off week, and the interviews will be on the 14th of October. So the motion is to hold a special committee of the whole on October 14th at 4 p.m. for interviews of up to 5 candidates.
Is there support for that motion?
So
Thank you, Commissioner Hoffman. Discussion? Commissioner Cooney.
I am out of the country on October 14th. I will be back October 15th, but I will not be available on October the 14th.
Vice Mayor.
I mean, I wonder if it'd be worth just going back to the drawing board if we have plenty of runway before October 15th, so that way we could try to maybe figure an alternative. I think it's important for us to all be here.
It is very important that you are here, Commissioner Cooney. And we do have a call tomorrow where we can figure this out. Yeah, we'll figure this out. And thank you for letting us know that. So what do we do with the motion? Table?
You can table them, or retract the motion, or table it.
I'd like to retract that motion.
All right, thank you so much.
Not done.
The other alternative is we go to wherever Don is.
Oh, yeah. Are we, Attorney Leal, are we allowed to go out of the country to hold this meeting?
All right.
Assuming that we can get the interviews and the tour and so on done that week, I do wonder if, I will say that October 20th, our regular meeting on October 20th, we will receive public comment then from everybody that attended the meet and greets, anybody who has also watched or could watch, you'd have time to watch it on YouTube, our YouTube channel, the interviews. So we will receive public comment on October 20th, and then we will deliberate and decide on October 27th, and that would also be a special meeting.
Question then, since we're all here, maybe we should check if there are particular days that will not work. For example, would you be prepared already by the 15th, the next day, Wednesday? So that's an option. I don't know if you have heard what the options might be from.
I think the other consideration to factor in is that whenever we do the interviews of the 5 people, you would try to join in the meet and greet opportunity with when they're here for the interviews. So whatever we shift our interviews to would likely impact when they would be here for the meet and greet as well.
Right.
So just kind of keep that in mind.
Right, and the thinking was they travel Sunday to do tour and meet and greet on Monday, and then interviews the following day. We'll run it by the committee, and we'll figure something out tomorrow. Thank you.
All right.
That ends my report.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Now we are down to commissioner comments. Are there any commissioners who would like to make comments? Commissioner Hoffman.
Thank you, Mayor. Last Friday, I was awakened by multiple gunshots outside of my house, and was immediately fearful. And there was this siren going off, and I didn't know what it was. And it was actually my alarm system notifying me that glass had been broken in my home. I went outside at 1-something in the morning and looked at the front of my house, and I didn't see anything. No windows were damaged in the front. I called my family, and they told, turn on all the lights and let's look around. A bullet had come through my living room above my front door and hit a water filter in my kitchen and destroyed it. I was completely disoriented. I didn't know what was happening. And then I went upstairs. The police came immediately. We went upstairs, and there was a bullet that went through my master bedroom. It went through my master bedroom, through my bathroom, through my full bath, and out of my back bedroom windows outside. The third bullet went through my garage door and exited out the back of my garage. My home was struck 3 times. It wasn't targeted. I don't believe that. I think it was just, there were 2 vehicles that were shooting at each other. There was, I have been told that the bullets that hit my house was from a rifle. The bullets had nothing to do with me. The sheer and utter fear that this has given me is something I don't wish on anybody. Bullets don't have a name on it. Bullets don't care what you do for a living. Bullets don't care if you're black, white, brown, blue. Once you pull that trigger, you no longer have any control of where that bullet goes. We all know that gun violence is real. However, when you are experiencing it in your own life, it changes you forever. I will be forever changed. I wake up every day now. I don't wake up because I haven't been sleeping, but I see the bullet holes all throughout my house. As you can see, I'm very emotional and have not been myself. I'm still shaken. Although I'm still shaken, I'm more resolute for us to do something different. What we have been doing is not working. What we have been working on with youth is not always youth. There are adults doing crazy things. I want us to figure out as a community how we can create other avenues to solve this issue of gun violence. Someone could have been killed in my home if the bullet would have flown in a different direction. We have to learn how to forgive one another and to talk to one another. Let's see each other as human again. Let old and new shit go. It's not worth it. It's not worth someone dying and another person going to prison over something anger and egos is controlling. The children in our city need the adults to be the role models who walk in love, patience, wisdom, compassion, and empathy. We all owe that to our youth and to ourselves. Please, please put down the guns and choose life. This is a real thing, and it changes lives even if you haven't been shot. If you have been a victim like me, and I don't see myself as a victim, I see myself now as being one of the champions to get down and do the dirty work to make this happen and to change the city. For our youth especially, but also for one another as human beings. Let's do better. We have to do better. No one should be afraid to be in their own home, ever, ever. And I refuse to be afraid. I'm still shaken, but I'm not leaving my home. It can be repaired. We're going to do all of that. I have been supported by so many people, so I want to thank each of you up here and thank the people that in the community that have been calling and checking on me and stopping by to make sure that I'm okay. I am okay physically and mentally. Emotionally, I'm still stunned. So I just really wanted you all to know, like, bullets don't care that I'm a city commissioner. Didn't care that I was a woman, that I was a black woman, that I work hard for this community. And I appreciate everybody's comments, but we all work hard for this community. And this lets me know that my work is not done. It's time to dig deeper, and it's time for all of us to dig deeper. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hoffman. Anyone else want to take advantage of this comment period? Vice Mayor.
Commissioner Hoffman, everyone deserves to feel safe in their home. Everyone. We stand with you during this traumatic time. Gunfire is no way to solve a dispute. It only creates collateral damage. I know it wasn't their intent, but they did harm you, and by harming you, they harmed our community. And you are not just one of the victims. There are so many victims of gun violence here in this community. There are coworkers, there are community members, there are neighbors, there are friends. And we are here for them, and I stand with you. And yes, we need to do something different. Something has to shift. Thank you for standing up, and we are here with you and for you.
Any other comments, commissioners? So I'm just going to ask us here for a moment, before we close out this meeting, just to each of us take a moment, say a prayer for our community, ask for understanding, ask for forgiveness, ask for our adult community to step up and be the role models that we need. I love you, Kalamazoo. We're adjourned.
Did you guys get back yesterday or?
Saturday. Okay. It's a 27-hour drive.